What's up, everybody? So I'm back again with another episode. So a last episode I talked about really briefly fetishization. I actually talked about. I kind of I guess previewed that a couple of times. I kind of teased it in a couple of videos I've done already. So this video is gonna be all about fetishization within the gay community as it relates to being black and gay, and specifically me and how I've dealt with it. So let's see. Fetishization is basically, in the most layman term, this is not going to be scientific, so don't quote me, but it's pretty much reducing a person down to the sexual nature of a person's characteristics. I think that's a good way to put it. I'm going to go with that. So, a good example. So, one of the most known, sought after, heavily duplicated, often imitated forms of fetishization within the gay community is fetishizing black men and fetishizing Asian men for two separate reasons. Now, Asian men are fetishized because they're considered docile and meek and quiet and submissive, and that's nowhere near true. I have plenty of Asian friends. I have plenty of Asian people I've known throughout the years and have met and have talked to, and that docile and meek and all that senpai, that stuff is so manufactured garbage. That's not even anywhere. A lot of stuff's not even based in reality. Honestly, a lot of it is Westernizations, complete and utter obsession with Asian culture. So that's where that comes from. Now we have the other complete flip side of that, which is the Mandingo, strong, black, big dick dude that's super big and buff, and he'll just tear you a little limb, and he's just super masculine and super aggressive and dominant, and just all of the craziness, all the shenanigans. Both of these fetishizations are the most common you'll see, and you'll probably experience if you're of those two groups. Me being black, I've definitely had my fair share of men in my inbox or on apps going BBC. They don't even put a whole sentence together. They just put BBC question mark. And I'm like, the news channel? Even though I know what BBC means. It means big black cock. Ugh, saying cock sometimes is gross. So yeah, and it's you're basically reducing me down to just body parts at this point. I'm just nothing more than just a sex doll for you. And what's the most troubling thing about being fetishized is that you are no longer a person. You're just an object for someone's sexual gratification and sexual desires. And most of the time, it's they feel these deviant sexual desires. These are taboo stuff. Most of the time, these white men, I'm going to just put it out there, I'm sorry, but not sorry. These white men go out here and they are ashamed of being attracted to black people. So they'll still date white men, of course, but they'll secretly want a black dude at the end of the day to come bang their box out for a couple hours with their 17-inch penis that they think every black guy has, which is, sorry, fact check, rumor report, spoiler alert, not all black men have 17-inch penises, so just throwing it out there. But then there's other fetishes that I didn't even know existed that were done to people. And one of the ones that was really tough to get into was the guys who were well, first I heard it as, they're chubby chasers. They're chubby chasers. And it sounds cute. But then there's this underbelly that gets really gross. People who the community want guys to gain a lot of weight. I don't think they call gainers, but they're guys who do gain a lot of weight for the sake of other people. Usually, I think they're called gainers. Don't quote me. I'm not a super expert in this stuff, but I just know from what I've experienced and dealt with and been exposed to. Now, I've met my fair share of guys, and I think now being older, a little more wiser, and have experienced a lot more stuff, I can almost tell the difference between guys who admire guys who are chubby and guys who are completely disgusting creatures who are just fetishizing and want to get their rocks off on this fat guy. Admirers, you can tell they have a way of being a little bit more. They're not as disgusting about what they want. and they're usually a little bit more. What's the word I want to use? Everything doesn't fall to a sexual place, or it's not a physical place. Like a lot of times, a lot of things comes from a place of admiration. Like, oh, he's so fluffy and cute. Whereas people who are chubby chasers or guys who are like really into like fetishizing fat, be like, oh god, look at him. Like it becomes sexual way too quick, and there's no like, it's like 0 to 6. Like, oh, it's sex. Yes. Look at this fat guy. Oh my god, look at his chest. Oh god, look at him. Oh, his belly. Oh, I just want to come in it. I'm sorry, this is getting really gross, but I need to make this point. So I'm sorry, this video is gonna probably be really cringy and gross. So just bear with me. So yeah, the guys who are like that. Now I've had a fair share of guys who fetishize chubby guys a lot, and sometimes it's hard to discern. Sometimes you're just thinking maybe he just likes chubby guys, but the issue again comes in when you demean a person, you dehumanize somebody into just being a sex. You're basically a sex doll. You're a living, breathing sex doll at that point. And I've had some guys that were just like, you can usually tell because like I remember one of my, I won't even go into detail who he is, but I looked on, I guess he was a Facebook friend, and we had mutual interests, blah blah blah. So he found some of my pictures on Tumblr, some of my shirtless pictures, and it was just the way he was describing. Ooh, it felt really creepy. Like it wasn't like, ooh, this is sexy or I find you hot. It was one of those, oh yeah. It was really gross and predatory. That's the word, predatory. If you feel like a very predatory like vibe from someone, they're usually fetishizing you. And there's a difference between sexualizing somebody and fetishizing somebody and just being really creepy. And the line is very thin. Like it's really, really thin. So sometimes it's hard to discern. So this is just use your best judgment. For me, if I feel uncomfortable when I'm talking to somebody, then I know that's not a person I want to talk to. And I've had that experience a couple of times when guys would just be a little too gross, too quick, too thirsty. And it's just like, I feel like a piece of meat at this point. A big slab of like meat for them to like use and stuff. And then often I would notice guys who were really into chubby guys, the friends they would have on Facebook. I would notice that all the friends they had either were chubby or looked like me in some way. Not like me, but like had my similar like profile, chubby, dark skin, or just like that. And it just seemed like there would be a pattern. Like it just wouldn't be just one or two. It would be like 40 different dudes that looked like, okay, you obviously have a type, which is fine. But sometimes it goes to a dark place, a really dark place. And that place I don't like being a part of. And yeah, so a lot of my adventures with being fetishized was coming mainly from Growler. That's another app. Basically, it's for bears. It's the alternative to Grindr, but in my cases, in my experience, Growler was actually a lot worse than Grindr, to be honest. Like, some of the most degenerate people end up on Growler using it to, like, use it for, like, I'm gonna find me a fat guy, yeah. And it's just so gross. Like, there's some guys who like to watch people eat. And that's tough. Like, I don't want to sit here like I'm kink shaming, but I hate feeling like someone's being a predator. Like, I'm just like on display, and it's just so gross. Like, it doesn't feel sexy, or it doesn't feel like there's admiration involved. It doesn't feel like there's like, it just feels gross and disgusting, and I just feel I feel icky. So yeah, there's people who like to do that. The guys who want you to gain weight, like, oh, you would be so much more hotter if you had a bigger stomach. I'm like, this stomach is pretty big already. I would like to be a little bit smaller, actually, if I could have my choice of it. But I don't think I want to gain any more weight. I'm good. Like, I'm fine. So, yeah, there's those. And then, yeah, I think those are the main two for, like, the chubby fetishizers out there. And there's plenty of them, too. So, watch out. Because, like, another part of this is that they won't be seen in public with you. They won't acknowledge you. They won't date you. They won't, if they are dating, they're dating you just because you are chubby. They're not dating you because they like chubby people. They're dating you because, it's like you're disposable at that point. You're not even a person. And that's my issue. Another fetish that I fell into and I didn't even know was a thing was, like, super tall guys liking super short guys. And this wasn't an issue, really. I'm like, oh, he just thinks I'm cute because I'm short. I guess that's not bad, right? Wrong. Like, I met this cop and he really likes short guys. He really got off on short. Like that's another part of this too. If the sheer thought of me being short gets you off, then I know I'm a fetish. If the sheer fact that someone being fat gets you off, like you don't have to do anything else, that's a fetish. If somebody could put their feet on your face and you can come from that, that's a fetish. That's a fetish. And he definitely got off on me being shorter than him. Like I think he was like 6'3", 6'4". And yeah, I'm 5'4", so the height difference is really like, oh, he's like, oh god, you're so short. I'm like, no, like no. It's god, I have definitely lived a life. But my point is that being fetishized is not fun. It's very dehumanizing. It's very like it makes you. I feel like people who fetishize people definitely prey on people with low self-esteem of some sort, or have insecurities about themselves. Like, I know chubby chasers definitely prey on, chubby guys because they know, okay, he's fat, he has low self-esteem, I can just prey on him, I can do whatever I want, I can give her, because he knows that he can't get guys anyway because he's fat, so he'll just take whatever he can get, which, haha, not the case all the time. And not the case often either. Like, even though guys are chubbier and stuff, they're not stupid most of the time. I mean, you can find some who are very like, they fall victim to that stuff because they'll tell them how pretty they are. Especially if you've never heard someone tell you that you're attractive or pretty or handsome or stuff like that, or gorgeous. You went your whole life thinking that you were ugly. Of course, somebody pops up in your hand like, oh, you're so gorgeous. Oh, look at all this love. Like, of course, you might fall victim to that, or you might not. But the fact remains is that it's so gross. Like, being fetishized is not cute. It's not fun. I remember one of my friends, Melanie, shout out to Moxie Peaches, because she's kind of like the person that kind of like put this particular video in motion, because she definitely has had her fair share of guys fetishizing her about her being tall, being a gamer, being a thick girl, like all these things. Like, probably being light-skinned too, because she's light-skinned. She's really pretty. And I know there's a lot of black guys who fetishize, that colorism stuff, which I'm going to get into that probably later. Colorism is man, that's a dilly of a pickle, to be honest, to talk about, but we'll get there. But back to fetishism, and it's not fun, and it happens the most in the gay community because a lot of sexual deviancy is promoted and it's accepted. So I remember one time my friend was like, I won't say his name, but I remember I was talking about being fetishized. He was like, what's wrong with being fetishized? People fetishize people all the time. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, there's a difference between sexual attraction and fetishization. Like, there's definitely a line. There's a line there. And I didn't feel comfortable with him saying that, because I felt like at that point he was just like, he was gaslighting me pretty much. Like, it's not a big deal. And it is. Like, you're already a marginalized person, and the only time somebody wants to talk to you is because they feel like you have a big dick, or because you're short or you're chubby. Like, that's dehumanized. That's awful. That makes you feel like trash. And if you already feel like trash, it's going to make you feel worse. So, yeah. I think that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about with fetishization. I'm sure some of you didn't even know some of this existed, hopefully. Hopefully I can open your eyes to, like, what happens. Because a lot of stuff that I talk about are things that happen that just no one knows about, or there's not a perspective on this. So I'm hoping that people gain some knowledge from this and know that, hey, it's not cool to fetishize people. That's gross. That's disgusting. That's not cool. That's dehumanizing. You are worth way more than just being somebody's cum rag, honestly. Like, no, it's not cool. So, alright. Thanks for watching this video, and I will be back with another one really soon.